Well, good morning, Fit in Five Tribe. Happy Friday. It is Fitness Friday, and I'm super excited to be here today because I have gotten so many questions over the years and recently about this topic that is not fun to talk about, but it's definitely fun to try to get rid of. Cellulite. Yeah, we all have it. I don't care what anyone says. If people are telling you that they don't have any cellulite, they're lying, lying through their teeth because 90% of post-pubescent women have cellulite. And that is the truth. So that is the statistic that is real. So 90% of us women have cellulite in some form. Hi, Mary. Good morning. I got your message. I just haven't responded yet. Actually, Daphne in our group has a really good collagen powder, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so if you guys are here, say hi to me. Let me know you're here. I'm going to be asking a few questions. I'd love your involvement. So let's get back to that. So 90% of us have it. So that means that 90% of us are going to be asking this question. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers. I don't. I do have a good understanding of how women's hormones affect a lot of the way that our body composition looks and how our body and our skin looks, because that was kind of part of the way that I made money for a long time. I had to get on stage in a bikini and a G-string, and I wasn't 25 when I did it. So I had to figure out how to lessen the appearance. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you right now is that I can't get rid of it for you. So a lot of it is hereditary, and it's a lot of about our skin elasticity, but it has a lot to do with our genetics. Okay, so I do have to say, I don't have as much as I used to. And I actually had more cellulite when I was younger than I do now. And I'll explain that as we go through this. But I really want you to pay attention to this. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. It can't go away. You can shrink it. You can reduce the appearance of it. But 90% of us have it. So if you're that 10% out there, more power to you. Because the rest of us have it. So if you're joining here today and you've got questions, please post them, ask them about it. But we're going to go through a few things, and I've got some notes written. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so number one thing that I'm going to talk to you about cellulite and how to reduce the appearance of it. Because remember, I'm not promising I can help you get rid of it. I'm telling you can help reduce it. Okay, and it's not going to happen overnight. These quick fixes that are out there, it might tighten your skin for an hour, but they're not long term. And we're in it for the long game, right? It takes a long time to accumulate it, and it also takes a long time to get rid of it. So that's why I always preach consistency in everything that I talk about, because consistent for the long game is what's going to give you the results. You can't expect, we always want these fast results. Everything that we do, especially as women, we want it now, we want it now, we want it now, we want to fix it, get to the heart of it. This is not something that's a fast fix. This is a long game, changing lifestyle. Okay, there are a few things you can do short-term game, but long-term is where I'm after and what will help not only your health, but the appearance of cellulite. Okay, so here we go. Does anyone know the best way to flush your lymph system? If you do, type it here. Because your lymph drainage system is key. Okay, so everybody out there talks about water, water, water. I'm telling you right now, water is key if you want to reduce the appearance of cellulite. And we're going to go into why. Okay, that's number one. Now, what happens is there's this stuff called fascia. We've all heard this term. People say, let's do self-myofascial release, all these things. But what really is fascia? It's this web of connective tissue, okay? And it sits between the subcutaneous fat and your muscle, all right? When the fascia starts to expand with fat cells, okay, because we don't get rid of fat cells, we shrink them or enlarge them. When they start to get enlarged, this starts to happen to our fascia, okay, and it expands. And our fat cells pop through this fascia, and it creates that look, that orange peel look that none of us want, but we all have. At least a little bit of it. If you're that 10%, again, good for you, but that's not me. I've got it too. So that's what happens. So when we enlarge them, it starts to pop through that fascia thread. Okay, now when our fat cells are enlarged, they're usually full of fluid or edema. Okay, so how do we flush fluid from our lymphs? Or our lymphs are clogged and they can't properly flush things through. And because of our lifestyle, the way that we eat, the way that we not take care of ourselves, our environment, the toxins that we ingest, all of that creates blockages in our lymph drainage system. Okay, so let's go back to this. So now how fluid in your fat cells is going to make them look bigger. So we want to get rid of that fluid. So that's why everyone's always like, let's try to get rid of the sodium in our diet. It's very true. So if you can reduce the amount of sodium in your diet and increase the amount of potassium, trick number one, it's going to help your lymph system flush a lot more fluid from your body, which will decrease the appearance. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Tia. Hi, guys. Hi, Amanda. Will decrease the appearance of that fat cell. Does that make sense? Okay, so everyone goes, oh, well, wow, let's eat a banana. Bananas have about 300 grams or milligrams of potassium. Your body needs about 4,000 a day. Pretty crazy. So everybody asks me about all these fruit and vegetables that I put in my shakes and my smoothies. Let me tell you what, the best way to get potassium into your diet is through fruits and vegetables, especially cruciferous, right? So if you've done my program and you're on my detox diet or you've done it, you'll realize I am packing you full of veggies all the time so that you can flush more fluid from those fat cells. Okay. Hi, Tia. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Hi, Todd. So that's what I want you to understand. Okay. So that's why when I give you that program, you're like, oh, why is she pumping me full of all these fruits and vegetables? Oh my gosh. That's why. Potassium is going to help flush that excess fluid from your body, get rid of the edema, and shrink the appearance of the fat cells. Remember, we can't get rid of them. We're shrinking them. Okay. And when they're enlarged, they look like they're popping through your skin as cellulite. All right. So that's tip number one. So water's going to help flush all of that out. Potassium's going to help flush all of that out to help drain your lymph system. Okay. All right. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about, and I'm going to keep looking at my notes because I've got a lot going on. You're no kidding, Dot. If you're on my detox diet, you know that I'm all about that. So anybody else understand what estrogen does to us as women as we age and go through menopause? I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. So listen, this is super important. You can also reduce excessive estrogen in our body, which estrogen is what causes excessive fat cells to enlarge, okay? Part of it. So estrogen is another culprit. If you're producing too much estrogen in your body, you've got to get your hormones checked and balanced, okay? Hormones are huge in this. If we're producing that hormone, it's going to make it harder for us to lose weight. It's going to make us store subcutaneous fat around our midsection, okay, which can turn into what looks like cellulite, and our hips and thighs as women. Let me tell you why. Okay, as we get older, what happens is our adrenals take the place of what our ovaries did, okay? So what happens is your adrenals get fatigued because they're now going through menopause and they're having to work harder. Okay, and what do us women do? We decide that we want to work out harder. We want to go for longer runs. We want to do a 15-mile run. We want to do an endurance race. Let me tell you something. Endurance training as you age and go through menopause is going to heighten the issue. It's not going to help you. Okay, that endurance training taxes your adrenal glands. So they're already being taxed if your ovaries aren't working correctly. Okay, and now you're going to double tax them by doing all of that excessive endurance training without enough rest and recovery. So we're really defeating the purpose. So let me tell you this right now. The best way to minimize your estrogen and not overproduction is to eat lots of cruciferous vegetables, drink your water, and not overtrain, meaning do not overdo endurance exercise. Instead, what I preach in my program is fast, short, intense burst of high-intensity interval training, okay, with compound movements that get more circulation to your body and blood flowing. That's it. So stop. If you're going through this position where your body's changing and your hormones are changing as a woman, stop doing over-endurance exercise. Stop. Just stop right now. Just stop doing it. Do the high intensity stuff, okay? That's going to increase more circulation, and it's going to also get you more insulin sensitive, okay? So we've talked about that. If you haven't seen my insulin sensitive video on YouTube, it's out there. I posted it here, and it got a lot of people love that video. So insulin sensitivity for the long game will help reduce the appearance of cellulite, all right? You got to get your insulin sensitivity under control. So another thing that you want to remember is when you're doing those high burst interval trainings, what does that do? It stimulates hormone growth, or your hormone growth factor, all right? So your HCG, which allows your body to build muscle as we get older. And what triggers that is getting your body insulin sensitive, doing high intensity interval training, and intermittent fasting. So you'll notice in my program too, I don't have you eating 5 times a day. What that does is it doesn't give your body enough time to trigger that hormone to help your body produce more muscle mass, okay? Now, when I say muscle mass, I want you to understand this. It's not about building big muscles and where you're looking masculine. Not at all. As we age, our muscles start to atrophy if our adrenals are being taxed. Okay, so the first sign of adrenals being taxed is not only being tired and thyroid issues, but it's also muscle atrophy, meaning no matter what you do in the gym, no matter how many miles you run, which I don't recommend you going some endurance training at all, but no matter how long you do that, what happens? Our muscles keep atrophying and we don't know why. It's because your adrenals are taxed, okay? So, and that atrophy, what happens is underneath that layer of the fascia, and that now that we've got this fascia here, it's spreading, and now the fat cells are popping through because they're enlarged, right? We don't have any muscle mass behind it to keep it toned, tight, and lifted. And then we get that jello feeling to our body, and everything's loose and nothing's tight, and not only is it loose now, but now it's covered in cellulite. So all these things that we think we're doing right by running all the time and, you know, not eating enough, not sleeping enough, go, I'm going to do more, is actually doing the reverse. Okay, so if you have been on my program at all, you understand why I program things this way. And the way I do it is to reverse our thinking and do things a little bit differently so that our bodies will not retain and expand those fat cells, but shrink. That's the goal, which will make the appearance of your skin a lot tighter and won't have as much inflammation there, because once all that fascia is being popped open by the enlarged fat cells, you're going to get inflammation. And now you're going to be sore. And now when you're foam rolling or doing self-myofascial release, you're sore in your hips and your thighs because that's inflammation, okay? Does that all make sense? Hopefully that's making sense to everybody. If you're getting something out of this and you feel like this is helping you, comment. If you feel like you have a question, comment. I'll answer it. That's what I'm here for. I want to know. Okay, so circulation. Now, when you're doing high-intensity interval training, and you're not using a machine, and you're not going to the gym and sitting on a machine and using a machine, that's one-dimensional movement. Don't do that. Don't go to curves and do one-dimensional movement on a machine. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to get the circulation there. It's not going to help you in the long game, okay? What will help you in the long game is multi-dimensional movements, compound movements that help you get more circulation flowing through your entire body all at once. Okay, and the way you do that is to use your body weight and not machines. Dumbbells, barbells, your body weight, not machines. That way you can work more muscles at one time and get more circulation and blood flow to your muscles, okay? That's the way your body's going to respond and shrink those fat cells, tone up the muscle underneath that fascia, and lessen the atrophy effect. This is why I never preach machines, and I'm always about compound multidimensional movements, okay? You're not gonna see me in a program of mine having you do a bicep curl on a machine. It's never gonna happen, ever. Okay, so what I also wanna talk about is circulation. So we're talking about that circulation, that high intensity interval training, which is part of my program. So if you're doing any of my programs, you're gonna get all of this, okay? It's all there. And so that's going to help you reduce your insulin, increase your growth hormone, not tax your adrenals, and not overproduce cortisol. Cortisol is our fat storage hormone also. One way to kill your results is to not get enough sleep, to stress out, and to tax your adrenals. I'm telling you right now. All that's going to contribute to more cellulite, okay? So if you reverse all that, you're going to get less cellulite. All right, so we're going to move on. I've got a few quick tips for you. Now, I'm not real big on the short game. You guys know I'm all about the long game. It takes a long time to accumulate those enlarged fat cells. So we've got to shrink them, but it takes time and consistency with all of these tips, okay? The one thing I do want you to remember, and the thing that is the biggest culprit for women, and the reason why sometimes we carry a lot of excessive cellulite, is because yo-yo dieting is our cultural norm, right? We as a culture, have not figured out how to eat for life and sustain a healthy lifestyle. We bounce back and forth. This diet, that diet, 10 pounds heavier, 15 pounds heavier, then you drop 30 pounds. All of that affects the elasticity of your skin and the way that the fascia works with those fat cells. So what happens is when we atrophy our muscles and we lose weight, then our fascia shrinks, and then we expand it again because we gain the weight, and then we shrink it again, and all of a sudden that's stretched out. And our elasticity of our skin around, especially our hips and thighs as women, and our lower abdomen just get stretched and rebound, and pretty soon there's nothing left, right? And it just can't repair itself. So the yo-yo dieting is one of the reasons I preach in my programs. Stop yo-yo dieting. Let's figure this out for life so that you have a plan in life, and it's not keto this, Atkins that, Weight Watchers this. It's just about lifestyle, okay? So now, next thing are a few little tips. There are two things that I do, and I do, especially if I'm going to be getting on stage. Like I said, I'm not 25 anymore, so things are definitely changing. And as I'm approaching 40, my body definitely is starting to shift and change noticeably. I have to make sure that I'm really doing my high intensity interval training and I'm getting enough rest and recovery. But what I do, and I'm a real advocate of, is I do a lot of lymph draining with dry brushing. So circulation through your blood system, your blood flow, will help get rid of some of that edema and that swelling. So I use a dry brush, and I do it at least 3 or 4 times a week. And if I'm going to be competing, I do it every day, sometimes twice a day. So before you shower, you take a dry brush, and it's a natural bristle brush, not too tight, but it's scratchy enough to where it's going to get some circulation moving and blood flowing. And you start at your feet, you long sweeping motions up towards your heart, so that it brings all that blood up into your lymph system so that it can flush it through. And if you're drinking enough water and you have enough potassium in your system and not too much sodium, it will help drain that lymph system and also keep you really healthy, because that lymph system is imperative to our overall health, which is why I really preach that. But in my detox program, it's all about lymph drainage. All of those recipes and the foods and the fruits and vegetables that are in, especially those smoothies. I just had mine. It's completely empty now, but I mean, it was huge. And I had zucchini, cucumber in it. I had frozen cauliflower in it, and every berry you can imagine, kale, green apple, just to keep flushing things out. Okay, so back to the dry brushing. Getting one of those dry bristle natural brushes will help. And right before I would compete, I would do that regularly, okay? Another thing that I would really recommend, and a lot of people, you'll see this on the market in those very expensive cellulite treatments. This is a short fix. This is not long game, okay? This is a short game fix here for you guys now, is a caffeine scrub. So what I mean by that is a coffee ground scrub. And I would do this before I would get on stage. Believe me, when people see me on stage or pictures of me on stage, that's not how I look. Let me be clear. I look like that for one day. Let me be very clear about this. Whatever you're seeing in the media is wrong. I look like that for one single day. If I'm doing a photo shoot, I look like that for one day. My body does not look like that every day. I have cellulite too. Okay, when I'm on stage, you might not be able to see it because I'm doing a lot of tricks to it, and I'm really, lighting's good, but I've got it too, okay? So what you wanna do is you wanna take some sugar, rock sugar, and you wanna take some coconut oil, and you wanna take some coffee grounds, organic, really kind of coarse grounds. And what I do is I make like a mix, a mask, and I use that as a scrub. So I would first do my coffee scrub on my area, my trouble areas, which we all have the same trouble areas. It's glutes, it's booty, thighs, and lower abs. Same for everybody. Well, actually, it's not true. I tend to carry a little pocket of fat right above it's like my little muffin top. It's like whenever I gain a little or my fat cells expand a little, that's where it goes for me. So I would do a coffee scrub, and I would rub it into my legs, butt, thighs, low back, abs before I would get on stage, morning of and night before always. And then what that does is it tightens your skin, exfoliates your skin, so it gives it a little bit better appearance and a less cellulite appearance. The other thing too for circulation with your fascia is to make sure you're getting blood flow in, is doing some self-myofascial release, which you've heard before. So if you are getting deep tissue massage regularly, great. If you can afford that, that's amazing. But if you can't, and you want to do something on your own, you can always get a small self-myofascial ball, or a foam roller, and use that regularly on those trouble areas to kind of break up some of that tissue and get things moving and fluid moving and your lymphs moving and some of that circulation there, because the circulation is going to help move that through. Okay, so let's review. Does anyone have any questions? I can't see any questions yet, but if you guys, I'll scroll down. Okay, I've seen some now. Sorry, Tia, I just saw your questions. It says, how much water do you drink first thing in the morning? Oh yeah, good question. Thank you for asking. I drink 8 to 12 ounces as soon as I wake up. And then I do my fat blasting shooter. If you haven't gotten that, you can get it on my website for free. If you subscribe to my website, you'll get it. And if you're on my program, you've definitely gotten it. My free program, or even you know, my 5-week program, you'll have that there. It's in the detox diet also. If you haven't bought that, it's a great way to get started. It's a 5-day detox. It's great, and it's really easy. Okay, next one. Where do you get the brush? Okay, good question. So I got mine on Amazon. It's a dry brush. You can get them on Amazon. Just make sure it's natural bristle. And it's about this big. I wish I would have brought mine over here. It's about this big, and it has a long handle you can attach to it, so you can do all angles. But I just use it on my hand. It has a little strap you can put on it. You start at your feet. You do long stroking brushes. You don't try to rub your skin off, but you definitely want to push to get some circulation going. Does that help, Tia? And if you love your berries, great. Pop more and more and more into your smoothie, as long as you know your macros and you know where you're supposed to be at with your calories and things like that. Don't go too overboard. But pop frozen cauliflower, frozen zucchini, any kind of beet tops are great form of potassium. In fact, beet tops have the most potassium of anything on the planet. Avocados are another great source of potassium, and really good balance of fat to help inflammation in your body. If you're getting the right amount of good fatty acids, it's going to help combat that inflammation, which all contributes to cellulite. Oh, and Cell, you love dry brushes. Yeah, girl, we're on it. You know who got me turned on to that, Celestina, is Michelle. Tell us, our mutual friend. Okay, anyway, side note. So I think those are all the questions I see here. I'm trying to look. Do you guys have any other questions for me while I'm on? I just want to, I want to also encourage you to try to decrease that stress hormone cortisol that our, everything is produced. I mean, our hormones are everything, you guys. Like, getting them in check is so important. And in our day and age, it's so hard to balance our hormones because we're always so stressed out. So another reason I do, if you guys are on my program, you know, the happiness activity we talk about, that's part of it, because walking at a slow pace, riding your bike at a slow pace, doing something enjoyable outside is the best way to reduce cortisol, which can help keep your adrenals healthy. So believe me, do all of these parts and pieces of my program, I have a master plan. That's why my program's so perfect for women, because I really do get it. But okay, so I think I've answered all of those questions so far. If you guys watch this later and you have more, just pop them here, and then I can definitely help you. Oh, Sel, what are you saying? I don't know where you got with my firm. I don't know what that means. Help me. Oh, avocados. Yeah, avocados are a great source of potassium, higher than bananas. Tia, so you're on the right track there, and they're better for you. They have all kinds of anti-inflammatory effects. Bananas aren't my favorite fruit. A lot of sugary carbohydrates without a lot of fiber. So I don't put them in a lot of things. Once in a while, it's fine, but not my fave. They taste delicious, but not my fave nutritionally. Avocados is a much better option. Okay, and Tia, if you love avocados, I have a video on my YouTube channel. It's an avocado ice cream protein recipe that's fantastic. So check that out. You'd probably really like that. And I put avocados in all my smoothies too. It's delicious. Okay, I think that's all the questions you guys have. If you have any before I pop off, oh, Miriam, all right, that's right. Sally, that's what you're talking about. Your dry brush, you have that with Miriam. Sorry, got it. I apologize, I wasn't clear. I love you too. So yeah, okay, so guys, a few things. Remember, my 5-day free fitness challenge is coming up. It's free. Seriously, 100% free. And it's got all these components in it, which is pretty rad because I'm giving it away free. And if you haven't done the 5-day free fitness challenge or my 5-week, you want to jump on board. It starts October 15th. Do yourself a favor and show up for yourself. Try something new. It's got all these components and how to increase your hormones, your growth hormone, and decrease your cortisol. It helps you get a little bit more situated with your high intensity programming. It's all about multidimensional movement. So it hits all these points. Okay. The other thing is, if you have not done my detox, my diet detox, it's available on my website. If you've done my programs, you get a discount code for the diet detox program. And it's a great way to kickstart getting those lymphs drained and kind of clearing out some of those fat cells and decreasing their size so that you can start to see a little difference, long game, in the way your skin and the appearance of the cellulite looks. Okay. So those are a few things coming down the line, and I'll post those links here. If you don't know how to get the free challenge or you don't know how to get the diet detox, I'll post that here for you. But if you have questions, that's what I'm here for. I want to help you. So if you've got questions and you want answers that I didn't answer today, please post them. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you and help you. And so if you have questions, just please let me know. All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate you letting me speak to you all this morning on this topic. Sometimes people say, well, that's kind of superficial talking about, the way fitness makes you look or being concerned about the way it looks. But to be honest with you, confidence comes when you feel good and you look good. And, growing that confidence through fitness for me was huge in my life. It changed my life. It was the only thing that gave me a lot of confidence. And so I think that by me sharing this and helping you gain more confidence through physical strength and health, and then eventually it's a function, it shows up and makes you look better and feel better, is my way to share what has helped me in my life, which is fitness. So I hope you guys decide to show up for yourselves. And if you have questions on how to do that and how to show up for yourself and how to gain a little bit more physical strength and better health, I'm here. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I'm stoked. If you can see outside, I don't know if you can see, it's gorgeous. There's my tree in the backyard. I'm upstairs in my office/bedroom and it's gorgeous fall day in Sun Valley. So I'm definitely going to get out there and do my happiness activity and take a breather and walk and de-stress. And I hope you do too. Okay. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.